Somewhere around 10 a.m. But as we continue with our roving coverage, we're going to come back here to home soil. In fact, SABC News senior reporters Chriselda Lewis and Khayelihle Khumalo, they're in Pretoria this morning in Waterkloof, and they're going to be joining us from St. Pius, the 10th Catholic Church. Their Holy Mass Memorial is taking place at around 10 a.m. also this morning. It coincides with the official start of the funeral. Good morning to the both of you once again, Chriselda and Khayelihle. Perhaps you can bring us up to speed as to what's happening as the clock ticks and we obviously edge closer to that Holy Memorial Mass. Are congregants coming out? Is it a little bit too early in terms of sentiments? What's been reflected as we continue to pay respects to the late Pope Francis? All right, so Chriselda, I believe you are on standby. You're in Waterkloof in Pretoria. Earlier on, you and Kaya were just painting the picture as to that special Holy Memorial Mass that's set to take place also around 10 a.m. That coincides with the official funeral time, Rome time, in fact, for Pope Francis. Perhaps you could tell us what's happening on your end as the clock ticks. I believe you're also going to be in conversation with Archbishop Henryk Jagodziński.
Well, that's right, Liesl, as we expect congregants to come and pay their respects. Indeed, this memorial is taking place here in Pretoria. And, you know, the sentiment that has been shared since news of the passing of Pope Francis was that he was a pope of the people, but mostly of the poor and the marginalized. Those are the key words that we've heard since the announcement of his passing. And, you know, many have spoken about the man that he was, how he expected the church to be open to all. And as I indicated a bit earlier on, how he didn't expect it to be self-centered. He wanted the church to be open to every single person. He believed that the poorest of the poor, some of the challenges, you know, that the world suffers, you know, the poorest of the poor, of course, who bear the brunt of that are the people who are supposed to be most taken care of. And one of the places where he believed that that could happen was inside the church as well. So I know around the world, including here on the SABC, we've spoken to a number of people who've shared great moments with Pope. You know, many of them have spoken about the kind nature of a person that he was, but he wasn't afraid to speak truth to power as well. And I want to bring in now, as you indicated, the Pope's representative here in South Africa, Liesl, and that's His Grace Archbishop Henryk Jagodziński. He's also the Pope's representative in other countries as well, including Lesotho, Namibia, Eswatini, and Botswana as well. Your Grace, good morning to you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us here on the SABC. This is, I guess, quite a moment around the world. But I want to talk about the special relationship that you shared with Pope Francis. And I want to go back to, I think it was in 2013 and 2015, where you lived in the same house with Pope Francis. Talk us through that moment, sharing meals with him, the conversations that you had with him, and the kind of man that we're paying tribute to today.
Good morning. I greet everybody who is watching us, and thank you for your solidarity to be with us and your prayer for the soul of Pope Francis. From 2008, when I arrived in the Vatican to work in the Secretary of State, my apartment was in Santa Marta House, Domus Sancte Marte. This was a house built in 1996 by the will of John Paul II. That maybe not everybody knows that when conclave happened, so the Cardinal Wojtek came, stay in Vatican and couldn't relate with the world. The windows are closed, and until they will not elect the new Pope, they couldn't relate with outside world. And before it was so-called Vecchia Santa Marta, it means Old Santa Marta house, was built in the end 19th century by the will of Pope Leo XIII. But it was not enough, the place there. And the cardinals who didn't find the place there were living in Secretary of State. And Secretary of State is the office. They put the bed there, like in the camp, and this was some lavatory and not properly the bathroom. So John Paul II, who had his experience of living in not nice condition, he thinking about the future conclave and ordered to build Santa Marta. So, and there is the capacity almost 130 places.
Sorry, Your Grace, we're running out of time.
Yes.
But I mean, just very quickly, the special moment that you spent with, the Pope, you were living together in the same house.
So in the end, so that during the conclave, I left the Santa Marta, and I lived in another house, and I was present in the moment of announcement of Pope Francis. I was in the place of St. Peter's Square, and then I come back to Santa Marta more or less after 1 month. And during our first meeting, we had the Mass with Holy Father in the chapel of Santa Marta, and then I had my first personal meeting with him. It was very touching that you had the impression that you meet somebody who knows from a long time, even we saw each other the first time. I remember his smile from this time, and in the end he asked me, prega per me. It means pray for me. And I were with him in same house until September 2015, when I left Santa Marta to India.
Right. Your Grace, thank you so much for your time. I know that there was plenty that we still had to speak about, but unfortunately we've run out of time. Thank you very much indeed for that moment. His Grace, the Pope's representative here in South Africa. Very key moments there, Liesl, that unfortunately we did not get to. Between 2013 and 2015, he had lived in the same house with Pope Francis, and also last year, in fact, he told me a bit earlier on today, last year, before His Grace was to come to South Africa, he had gone to Pope Francis and basically asked for special prayers for him before he embarked on his journey to South Africa. So we're expecting that special memorial service to get underway at 10 o'clock here in Pretoria this morning.
Thanks, Chriselda. It's hard to condense 88 years into, one crossing. But thank you for that chat. Of course, Chriselda Lewis, my colleague in conversation with Archbishop Henryk Jagodziński.